So it's the end of a new week. This is Saturday. It's beautiful. I know we're just like relaxing and kicking back, but I just need to tell you about a big mistake I made this week, specifically yesterday. I made this mistake. I messed up yesterday, and I am like very, very upset with myself. And I just wanted to share it with you. I was itching to really come on and talk to you guys about, what it's like being an investor and whatnot. So it's Saturday. We are kicking it. We're relaxing. There's no makeup on. We're doing our hair. And I just want to talk about this big mistake I made, because I know that some of you are also a part of my team. Some of you are in, you're doing things. I know that I was not the only one to mess up this week. There is a big mistake that you made yourself as well. So last night I was just sitting down there thinking and saying, you know what? I'm so upset with myself. I messed up big time, and I was just really upset and really disappointed. And I know you kind of, must have felt that way as well. So the fact of the matter is, right, everybody, sometime in their life, you're learning something new, right? You're learning something new, and that is me. I'm learning something new, and sometimes you forget that when you're learning something new, you're going to mess up. I forgot about that. Okay, so I am learning to be an investor. I'm doing I'm following my instructors. I've been trading for almost over a year and change, right? And I messed up, and I forgot that as a newbie, somebody who's learning something, I have to give myself some grace, some self-love, and some self-acceptance, right? So how many of you are learning something new? It doesn't have to be trading, it could be anything. And I know that during the lockdown, a lot of people were, trying new things as they were filling in the time that they had, and they were probably learning different things, right? So for me, again, learning something new requires that you really give yourself some grace. And when you mess up, you really need to give yourself some more grace, because when you're learning something new, it means that you don't know it. You don't know it. And that is what I had to remember yesterday, right? I had to remember, Rochelle, I'm learning something new. I am supposed to mess up. I am supposed to fail. But I spent so much time being disappointed. I spent so much time absolutely upset. So I just want you to know a couple of things. And I just want to also share with you what my journey is like as I'm going through this new journey. And you might be wondering, why are you wearing a pink cap? But it's Saturday, we're kicking it back, and we're talking about failure. And this is one of the products that I have, because some of you know me as somebody from Don't Break the Comb and whatnot. But this is not a YouTube video. It is not a natural hair video. Not today. We're talking about messing up. We're talking about messing up, and learning new things require that you do mess up. And other people know me as a teacher, right? And there's times when I do forget that being a student is a difficult thing, right? Being a student is a difficult thing. And so I'm going to tell you what I messed up and what I did. I can tell you that in a moment, but I just want to go through a couple of things, right? So the first thing is, when you mess up and you think you fail, call it a lesson. Okay? When you mess up and you think you fail, call it a lesson. And it is easier said than done, but I am glad, because I messed up yesterday, but today I can call it a lesson. And so I'm proud of the fact that I rebound very quickly. So that's a good thing for me personally, right? So I just want to share a little bit about some of the things that I think people need to be reminded of when they're learning new things. I think one of the first thing is that you need to show up for yourself, right? Now, when you're learning something new, especially if it's not for your job or it's not a requirement, you need to remember to show up for yourself. And that goes back to self-discipline, right? Not many of us are really self-disciplined for ourselves. We can be self-disciplined for school. We can be self-disciplined for our job. We can be self-disciplined for our family. So if a family member needs us to show up, can you pick me up after school? Can you pick me up or drop me off a certain place? We show up for our families, right? We show up for school. we show up for our job. But the thing that we need to remember is that when we're learning something new, we need to show up for ourselves. That's key. And I was so proud of the fact that I really, really, really made time for investing, right? Last week was a hot mess. I was just going through the motions. I was just, going to work, doing this, doing that, getting caught up. And then I had to tell myself last week, Saturday, Rochelle, no. You're learning something new for you. I need you to show up for you. So that's one of the things I want to remind you of when you are learning something new that doesn't have any requirements on the outside. This is for intrinsic value that you need to show up for yourself. You need to show up for yourself. Now, a part of my life as an investor is that I document or I record my investments. Okay, some of you know me. You've seen some of my videos, and I am part of a team of individuals, and I am learning. The new thing that I'm learning is how to trade in the foreign exchange market. Right. I also do investments in crypto. So this is what I'm learning. And one of the things that I need to do or learn to do is to record. Now, let me give you an example. When you go to the bank, right, and you do your little transactions, you order your stuff online, you go shopping and whatnot, and you log into your online banking, you notice that all the records are on point. You can see when you ordered, what you ordered, how much you spent, right? And that is what the bank does for you regarding your money. But how many of us is actually, again, this idea of showing up, how many of us actually take notes? If you're into budgeting, do you actually tell yourself, this is the year I'm going to budget? Have you written down what you've been doing? Have you taken account of what you've been doing? And for those of you who are on my team, right, some of you are on my team, you're brand new. I just want to share with you this. As an investor, you need to see what you have been doing, if you're making gains or you're making losses, right? And one of the things I learned to do early is to write down, for example, the currency pairs I'm investing in. Write down if I was buying or selling it. Write down how much I made, how much I lost, right? And that is what I did for quite some time. But then after a while, I came to realize that, yes, I'm an investor, right? But the next thing I need to remember is I'm also a student. Remember the concept of learning something new? I am also a student. So what is important for me, if I'm growing as a student, if I'm becoming a better and better individual or investor, or whatever it is that you are learning new, whatever it is, can you track your progress? Can you track your progress? That's important. Can you track your progress if you're learning something new? And a lot of us, we're learning new things on our own, right? We're learning new things on our own. So because of that, we sometimes forget to actually record our growth, our progress, right? So I want you to know that is important. If you're a new investor, if you're on my team, that is very important that you take the time to note, take record of what you're doing. Now, what I also did after a while, updating my trading journal and whatnot, after a while, I started to write down why I entered the market, why I exited the market. I started to write down the pairs that I'm involved in and where I got the trade from, okay? Because before, again, it was just throwing down information on a paper, and when I go back and look at it, I don't even remember the trade. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember what happened then. But this week, I made a conscious effort to really write down, okay, so which trade am I entering? Where did I get this from? So I got this from the harmonic scanner. All right, good. Why am I entering it? I'm entering it because of this. If there is a loss, or AKA lesson, why did I lose? What happened here? All right? So it is very important that you record your progress. That is like key. Okay, so part of that, like the second point I made, part of it is showing up for you. If I show up for me, I'm going to put in the time. If I show up for me, I'm going to make sure I have accurate records for myself as a student, aka as an investor. So I keep record of it. And I also look at, was I emotional when I entered or when I exited? Because that's important, right? And for those of you who have been considering becoming an investor, or even just a general thought of learning something new, right? you have to kind of remember to have the right expectations. Okay? Because remember we just talked about earlier, I messed up big time. And the funny thing is, I was just wobbling and like, oh gosh, why did I do that? And I was just going on and on. And I didn't have my expectations set. And that is important, right? It's important because here's the thing. When you're learning something new, you're going to become schizophrenic. Okay? You're going to become schizophrenic. And it sounds crazy, but that's exactly what happens. Because as you're learning, you have the old you and you're becoming somebody else. You see? So as you're learning, you have the old you and you're also becoming someone else. So as you're becoming someone else, you need to juggle that expectation. Okay? You need to juggle that expectation. So who I was before, I was somebody who was very emotional when it comes to money. Excuse me. I was also I was doing things without any technique, right? So now that I have been a part of this opportunity for over a year, right? My second anniversary is coming up. Since I've been a part of it for quite some time now, I realized that I am now a little bit more, not as emotional, right? But yesterday, it was two of me in one going off. Yesterday I was in control, calm, doing technique. And at the same time, I was also, woo, look at that. And this is the error that I made, right? I am grateful for the apps that we have on our team and the platform. So I was able to leverage the educator, Crypto Picasso. So he called a trade, an investment yesterday. And I entered the investment, I entered the market, and I watched my account grow up to almost 30%, right? I was watching it and I made one decision, and that decision would have taken me to almost 100% growth, right? And so I'm watching the market and I'm getting emotional. And you're not supposed to get emotional. So when you're watching the market and you're getting all this gain, you're getting all this your money is multiplying, right? And you're seeing it grow, you're seeing it double. But the thing is, you need to take it off the market. And I didn't do that. I got emotional. I sat down, I watched, and I was like, ooh, the dopamine is kicking in, and I was feeling good. I was like, wow, oh my goodness, look at that. My account is being doubled, 30-something%, and I'm watching it. And the thing that was annoying to me, how I messed up, was that I didn't take the money off the table. So it went up, and then it come back down. And I was just, really, Rochelle, really? What are you putting money in the market for if you're not multiplying it? So that was a big mistake I made. Our team have a saying, when it's blue, it's on you, which means if your account goes into the blue, meaning that you are making money and your money is multiplying, you should now secure profits. And I did not secure profit, right? And I was so upset. I was really upset because when you're doing cryptocurrencies, the gains are much more, okay? The pips are more. And that thing went into almost 1,000 and change pips. And I was just watching it. Now, what I want you to know, as I said it earlier, if you mess up, if you failed, right? It's not a failure, it's a lesson, right? It's not a failure, it's a lesson. And your job as a student is to remember that you're gonna make mistakes, right? And your job now is to figure out, what am I going to focus on? Am I going to focus on the negative, or am I going to focus on the positive? That's your job as a student. Anything that you're learning, your job is to take that failure and ask yourself, what am I going to do with it? So if I focus on the negative, I missed out on some money yesterday, right? And I'm like, really? That was really dumb of you to sit there and watch your account multiply up to 30%, get emotional, right? And not take the money off the table. And I can focus on that. Or I can focus on the positive. During that entire trade, I was using fibs like a boss. I was, all the levels were hitting and I understood everything and I could focus on that, right? So my question to you is, as a student, as somebody learning something new, are you going to have a scarcity mentality or you're going to have a abundance mentality? Okay? Are you going to have a scarcity mentality or are you going to have an abundance mentality? And what does that mean? Scarcity mentality is me focusing on the fact that I missed out on a trade and just to focus on that only. An abundance mentality would be, well, Rochelle, this is the end of 1 week. What are we going to learn? How are we going to do what we're going to do for next week? Because next week is a new week, right? And the beautiful thing about what I do, is that as a student of the foreign exchange market, as a student of cryptocurrency, my market is open all into the weekend. So the abundance mentality is, Rochelle, let's get ready for another trade. Let's get ready for another investment. And next time, take the money off the table. So in closing, what about you? Right? What about you? Are you going to give yourself some grace when you're learning something new? Are you going to give yourself grace? Right? Because you're going to fail. That's the expectation. You're going to fail because you don't know how to do the thing properly as yet, right? So are you going to show up for yourself? Showing up for yourself means putting in the time, taking record of your progress. Are you going to show up for yourself? And of course, once you mess up, what is going to be your focus? Are you going to think failure? Or are you going to think lesson? Or are you going to think negatively? Or are you going to think positively? So I know some of you messed up this week, whether it's on your job, whether it's in your relationship, whatever, right? At the end of the day, are you going to have a scarcity mentality or an abundance mentality? Your scarcity mentality is just to focus on the error and perpetuate it. The abundance mentality is, this is the lesson. I learned my lesson. Now on to a new day, on to a new week. So I want to thank you guys for listening to my rant, and I want you to have an amazing Saturday. This is what's going on with me as an investor, the things that I'm going through, and so I'm going to get ready for a team meeting, and I want you guys to have an awesome Saturday. Thanks for showing up. Take care. Bye-bye.